G'day guys, it's John from theproductivegarden.com, and today basically got a video of what turned out to be an attempt to look at the hive here. Now it turned out not to be the greatest day to look at the hive. I got done my main objective, which was to get a bit of wood out of the hive that was just holding the frames nice and tight together while they were being transported, and I got that out. But I was going to have a look at how the brood nest was going and how their honey stores were going. But the bees told me in no uncertain terms that today was not the day to be going through the hive. So let's go and have a look at what happened. Alright, so the first thing I did was gave the bees a bit of smoke through the entrance, which you need to do just to just calm them down a little bit, and then just let them let the smoke do its work while I got the hive opened up. So I just had to open the M-lock on the top and then put that at the front so that I don't step on it, and then just open the clips that hold down the roof and the super. And get those open. And not like I thought the day myself would be warm enough. It seemed warm enough to me, and there wasn't a lot of wind, so I thought it would be an alright day to do it. So just cracked open the seal on the roof, got the smoker just to put a little bit of smoke in. It's probably a bit rough with the roof there. And just gave it a little while, just let the smoke do its work. And the bees at this stage, they seemed alright. There were a few bees flying around, but they weren't aggressive at all. And so I took the roof off. The smoke should have done its work, and I've got the smoker drifting across the hive anyway. So just put the lid down so it was reasonably level. Lifted the honey super off, and I had to actually crack the seal on it. When I lifted it, I realised it was sealed down with propolis. So just cracked the seal on it, and I actually should have thought at this time that I cracked the seal underneath the queen excluder, so the queen excluder was still stuck to the super. And that'll be something I'll have to remember for next time, is to make sure I leave the queen excluder on top of the brood box, so that I can put it on top of the honey super and stop things going through. It's not going to really matter, but yeah, it's just nice to have that all loose and not have it fall off when you go to put it on top. Anyway, I got the bit of wood out, and this was my main reason for the day, was to get this bit of wood out, and that was achieved. So it was no problem getting that out. And then I started to loosen off the second frame so that I could go in and see what that was doing, and probably take that frame out and put it on the side somewhere, just so I had some room to look at the rest of them. So I just loosened each end, and even now the bees were fine. There was no problem at all. So I just had to just break it from the other side, and I probably should have used that tool a bit better, but it was still fine. They started getting a little bit stirred up here. I probably should have taken the thing, and as soon as I started lifting it out, you see now, and they just go nuts. So I decided, no, the frame has to go back in. It didn't really go down as well, just was sort of caught on the lugs on the frame next to it. Bit of smoke to try and calm them down, didn't really make much difference. My other mistake was not having my sleeves down. I sort of had a loose sleeve at the end, and definitely wouldn't do that again. I would either use some tape to close them down, or use a jumper that's got a tight end on the sleeve. So I went to clear the bees out, and this is about the time I ended it here. Decided it was time to close it up. Yeah, so it wasn't the day to do it. It was definitely very much a time to take notice of what the bees were telling me. They were definitely telling me in no uncertain terms that it was not the day to be looking at them. It was too cold. They didn't want their hive open, and I just had to just manipulate you can probably see from the still that I've got here that the end closest to the camera is still up a bit. So I just had to push that over. It was just caught on one of the lugs on the frame next to it. And so I just had to just push it over a couple of millimetres, and then it just fell nicely into place. Then I just put the honey super on top, put the roof back on and clipped everything up, and as soon as I put the honey super on, the bees settled right down. The only bees that were bothering me were the ones that were already on me and already up my sleeve. Yeah, so it just go to show that as soon as I put that super back on, everything was fine. The bees settled right down, and they weren't really that stirred up anymore. And even like when I did start pulling that frame out, they really started to buzz. But once I put that super on, you could hear the whole hive just sort of calm down a little bit. So once the super was back on, they were much, much happier as a hive. Just the ones that had already gone into attack mode were still in attack mode.
All right, so that's the importance of picking the right day to look at your hive and listening to what the bees tell you. If you open up a beehive and the bees let you know in fairly certain terms that they don't want the hive opened up that day, then it's probably best just to leave it for another day and not try and impose your will upon the bees. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting, and hopefully in the next week or so I get a much better day to come and look and just make sure this hive is all going well for winter. Anyway, that's it for now, and until next time, happy productive gardening. Bye.